Hello everyone and welcome to the Urban Design Toolkit. In this video we're going to introduce Adobe Illustrator, but we'll be using it specifically for urban designers. So first of all we're going to introduce the interface and then learn a little bit about the tools that you'll be using for your maps, and then introduce these panels over here, like the layer panels and the color panels. So first of all, this is the interface. When starting, you just need to open a file. You either download it from Digimap or you're gonna create a new file. So to create a new file, you go to File, New, and then you have the New Document window. In this window, you can rename your file over here, and then by the size option here, you can choose the size that you want. You can go for A4, A3, or any size you want. For this tutorial, we'll go for an A4 size. And then here you can choose if you want it to be landscape or a vertical view. Let's go for landscape for now and press OK. This is the empty document that you will have when dealing with Illustrator. So let's see how you can download a map from Digimap and then put it here. I already downloaded one, and then we'll have a separate tutorial to show you how you can download it actually from the website. But for now we're gonna go to File, Open, and then I downloaded it to the desktop. So it's called VMap. We'll choose it, either double click on it or just press open, and there it is. So let's see how Illustrator actually deals with the graphics that we have here, because programs like Photoshop and Illustrator are very different in how they handle graphics. So for Illustrator, after I open this map, you'll see when I hover over these shapes, each shape is separate from the other. Here you can see there it consists of hundreds of separate shapes. These are called vectors. For vectors, you can just resize the actual map, make it smaller, bigger, and it won't change any quality. You'll have the perfect quality. But for programs like Photoshop, they deal with pixels. So if you use Photoshop, you can't resize the files that you create to any size that you want. You will be losing a lot of resolution. So when you want to create a map from zero, you will need to use Illustrator because it'll be so much easier to create the details and stuff. It's important to know that if you scan an image that you already drew, you can't just put it on Illustrator and expect to edit it easily, because the image that you scan is created by pixels, so it won't work with Illustrator. You'll have to draw over it in Illustrator. The only maps that you can actually edit are those that are downloaded from Digimap. So when you download this map, you'll see that you can't really choose anything here. You're gonna need to press on the map first, and then right click and press on Release Clipping Mask once, and then do the same thing again, because here it's generated in a weird way because it's all grouped together into clipping mask. We'll talk about that later, but now you have to know that you need to right click and then release clipping mask several times. Like whenever you click on something and you find that you have this huge square, you're gonna need to right click and release clipping mask. Then you'll find this is the entire map that they drew already. Release clipping mask. Okay. So first of all, let's introduce the tools that are here on the left side of the interface. These, you're not going to use all of these tools, but I will be showing you like each one, what it does and how you can use it in urban design. First of all, we'll talk about the easy ones, and they are the selection tools. There are two ways to select objects in Illustrator. The first one is this one, the default one, which is the black selection tool. It's called just the selection tool, and you can choose it by either clicking on it here or clicking on V on your keyboard. This tool allows you to move an entire object, like this entire object. You can just click on it and then you move it. If you want to choose more than one thing, you can either click and drag over an object and then you can move it, or you can click once on one thing and then press shift on your keyboard, click on another thing, and then you can move the object. You can see here that it's not actually moving this one because it's like created with 3 different shapes here. So you're gonna need to click and drag over the whole thing and then move it. If you have this tiny line under the arrow that you have, you're not gonna be able to move the object. You're gonna wait till you have no line, so you have just an arrow, and then click and drag. You can also resize this object by pressing shift and then going to one of the corners of this box and just resizing it. Pressing shift helps you maintain the proportions of this object you're moving. So if you don't press shift, you're gonna like end up losing the right proportions, which is something you don't want. Okay, the second way of selecting is the direct selection tool. Shortcut is A. This tool helps you manipulate each like component of a shape. So like the dots over here, you can like move these dots, or even the lines, you can move a whole line. Like you're not moving the entire object, you're moving just one element of this object, which is the line, for example. Okay, so for example, let's see over here. If you click on just one dot, you can press on it and then move it this way. Or you can use the V tool, which is the selection tool, and you can move the whole object altogether. What I'm doing here is pressing Ctrl Z, which is undo in Illustrator and in Photoshop, and pretty much in every Adobe program. So if you want to undo something that you did, you just press Ctrl Z. Okay. Next, let's see another way of selecting, which is the magic wand tool, but I don't really use it that much here because it's not very precise. You see, when I pressed, it didn't really like choose one object for me, which is like the green object, but it, for some reason, it doesn't work exactly the same as Photoshop. It's supposed to choose the objects of same color, but in the maps that are generated with Digimap, this is very difficult to do. So you don't really use it so much. You're gonna be using the direct selection tool, which is A on your keyboard, and the selection tool, which is V on your keyboard. These are the main things that you'll be using. Another way of selecting is the Lasso tool. It's really easy to use it, but it's a little bit more complex, I guess, because you're gonna be using your mouse, which is a little bit hard to control sometimes, and you won't be really like needing it very much.